Hey y'all, Nick here, checking in real quick with you guys and coming to do a real quick post. So I am in Tampa. I had to speak today at a Creation Nation event hosted by Dontecia Seymour, and was having a conversation because one of the things that I kept hearing while in the room was time, having time. All the people that are here for the weekend they're creating their inventions, right? And so she helps them to bring their inventions to life. And the whole focus of the conversation this weekend is what is the process and how to get it to market. And so my specialty today as a speaker, I was speaking on how to get your product to market, how to get your invention to the market and get your first 100 sales, right? What are some of the things that you can do to actually get your product to the market quickly, and how can you actually convert sales? So when I was talking and I was walking through some of the things and I was asking for feedback and just engaging with the audience and just saying, how does it sound? Some of the people were like, oh, this is a lot, right? So what we started talking about, a lot of it was, they were saying this a lot because the thing was time. Oh man, we got to learn how to do this. We got to learn, right? And it wasn't hard. We made it super simple. The bottom line was you had to make time for your business, right? You had to make time. So I had to do a pivot in the middle of my presentation and say, listen, y'all, let me show y'all the secret to creating success in your life. I said, because I've learned over the years, success is easy when you are disciplined with your time, okay? When you are disciplined with your time. So I went on and I began to explain to them how this year for me has been a year of being in monk mode. It means that I have had to deny myself of all the frivolous things that I can just be doing for fun, and instead get disciplined this year and say, listen, if there's a vision that I've had, I want to bring that vision to life. I'm going to give this year my all to bringing that vision to life by any means necessary. So that basically meant that I had to sacrifice a lot of the stuff that really were fun, engaging, entertaining things. They were nice to do, but they were imposing on the time that I needed to bring my goals and vision to life. And so I began to explain to them a method that I teach a lot of my coaching clients. And this method is called the daily method of operation. It is how you structure out your weeks. Hey, Tamesia, it's how you structure out your weeks to get things done. And what I've learned, I had to learn over the years, y'all, because I was not a structured, disciplined person at all. I consider myself to be a creative, a spontaneous person, a fly by the seat of my pants, love to have fun, you only live once kind of personality, right? That's who I am to my core as a personality. That's how my characteristics are just designed as a person. So that's how I've been my entire life. But when I became serious about building a business as an entrepreneur and building a business, period, I realized, listen, you got two choices. You can fly by the seat of your pants and have money randomly appear. Your money could be as spontaneous and random as you are with your schedule, or you can get disciplined about your time and your schedule and have predictable income and do predictable activities that will produce the results that you want to create. And so, hey, Teresa. And so I had to understand that I was in control of my outcomes based on how willing I was to be disciplined about my input, right? You can dictate the output that you produce based on your input. If you randomly work on your business, if you randomly work on your goals, if you randomly work out, then you will randomly get results, right? You will randomly generate income. You will randomly get business. But if you are disciplined and consistent in your effort in the work that you do to produce a specific result, you will produce the result according to the level of discipline that you have about what you want to create. So I was talking to me and the camera guy. He's a real cool guy, real cool dude. And he was like, man, your speed. He was like, your talk really hit home the most for me. And I said, really? I said, well, what about it? What was your takeaways? He said, making time. And I said, yeah. I said, listen, I've learned over the years that success is easy when you get disciplined. And he was like, what do you mean by that? So I explained to him back in my real estate days. I'll never forget this. When I got into real estate, this was years ago, but when I got into real estate, I used to get up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning and we had a library. They gave me keys to the office, and we had a library full of resources. all on real estate. So they would spend thousands of dollars on different tools and resources that taught you how to build real estate business, right? Because I was so hungry and thirsty to be successful. I was like, how do you be successful in real estate? So I would get up. I forgot that I was doing this back in the day until now, but I would get up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd be so excited to get to the office and dive in. And back then, y'all, this was VHS tapes, cassette tapes, it was DVDs and CDs and stuff like that. And I would go to the office and I would sit and I would soak in and just listen to these tapes and dive into the books and go through the workbooks and listen to all these experts from real estate tell you how to build a business. And one of the things that they told us to do was to go out and find the top agents in our office and ask them, can we take them to lunch? So there was a guy in my office named Tony Marino. I will never forget him. He was a sharp dude, but he was business. Like Tony would come, you could tell Tony was about his time. He would not waste no time. He was in the office. He did not do no small talk. He was out of the office. He was always on the appointment. You know, when we would have meetings, Tony came in and he was out. He was not sitting around shooting a breeze, right? So I could tell Tony meant business. So one day I approached him because he was almost intimidating, right? So I approached him. I was like, Tony, you know, I was researching and I to learn how to become a successful real estate agent. And I was like, do you mind if I take you to lunch? He was like, I don't have time to go to lunch, but you can come meet me in my office, right? Tony was about his time. Listen to me, y'all. Tips in that. Tony was about his time. He was like, you don't have to take me to lunch. Come to my office right now. I can tell you what you need to know in 15 minutes, right? This is Tony Marino. So me and Tony go in his office. I was like, Tony, what's the secret to being successful in real estate? Because he was always on the leaderboards. He was a super sharp, very corporate, professional guy, right? And so he said, Nick, he called me Nicole. Nicole, let me tell you the secret. He said, in the game of sales, you got to learn the concept of farming and hunting. He said, farming is just like you here. You throw your seeds down, you sow them into the ground, and you hope that they reap a harvest. He said, but hunting is when you know your family is at home waiting to eat, and you go out for the day, and you're not going to come home until you've caught your dinner for the day. He was like, you got to learn how to be a hunter. He said, a hunter leaves the house and will not return home until he has his kill for the day, is what he called it. He was like,